So we're going to start on the back, and you can start by just allowing the tissue to open up, bring the knees towards the chest, rock a little side to side, hug those knees in, and then let yourself come to center. Wrap the arms around the legs and just bring your nose towards the knees and take a full breath in, full breath out. There can still be a little movement there. Just drawing the knees towards the nose, closing all the joints. Take another breath there. And then we'll release and let the feet come onto the mat, knees towards the ceiling in our bridge prep. Go ahead and tuck the shoulder blades down and under you. Hands can be alongside the body or on the belly. And we're going to just start by pressing into the feet and allowing whatever wants to shake loose to just shake there in this bridge prep. So just giving ourselves a little bit of movement by pressing into the feet. So you're getting a little bit of the tilting of the pelvis, but no effort. Everything in the belly and the buttocks, the shoulders, is all just relaxed. We're just going to send a little shaky wave through there. And go ahead and just take another couple breaths here. And then gently and slowly start to release the effort. And then we're going to bring the effort into breathing here and tilting the pelvis. So as you exhale, draw the belly button down towards the spine, spine towards the mat. And then as you inhale, let the pelvis tilt towards the feet, natural curve in the back. And let this breath be nice and long. And go ahead on your own as you exhale, draw the belly button towards the spine, spine towards the mat, tilting the pelvis towards the face. As you inhale, letting the pelvis tilt towards the feet, natural curve in the back. And just carry on just like that with your own breath, own length of breath. I'm going to take about 3 to 4 more here, just gently exhaling. Pelvis tilts towards the face. Inhaling, pelvis tilts towards the feet. Go ahead and take one more round. And then on the inhale, let the natural curve come back into the back. Bring that right knee towards the chest. Interlace your hands either in front of the knee or behind the knee on the thigh. Draw the right knee towards the right armpit. And then you can extend the left leg long, or you could leave it, the knee pointed towards the ceiling. And with your exhale, draw that right knee in towards the right armpit. One more breath here. Squeeze that knee towards you. And then just for fun, on your next exhale, see if you can bring the forehead or the nose towards the right knee. Take a full breath in, full breath out, and then let the head come back to the mat. Shoot that right foot up towards the ceiling. Interlace the hands behind the right thigh. Go ahead and draw a little circle with your big toe on the ceiling. Take the circle both directions. Just roll out that ankle joint for a moment. And then pointing and flexing the foot. Go ahead and point the toes towards the ceiling. And on your exhale, let the toes point back towards the face, flexing the toes back towards the face, almost as if you're lengthening to push the heel towards the ceiling. And then as you inhale, let the toes point towards the ceiling. You can take a full breath on the extension, flexing the foot back towards the face, taking a full breath. Go ahead and take one more each direction. And then once again, draw a circle on the ceiling. Take the circle both directions. And then bend that right knee. We're going to come into half happy baby. You can grab a hold of the bottom of the foot. If that's not quite available, then you can use your strap. We're going to draw that right knee towards the right armpit, and the sole of the foot is parallel with the ceiling. And then go ahead and bring it towards you, bring the knee towards the armpit. And then with the effort of the legs, press into the hands as if you're trying to step onto the ceiling. And then relax, let the knee come towards the armpit. And then once again, as if you're trying to press into the hands, press into the ceiling. Go ahead and just have a little play, about 3 more rounds with that, letting the knee come towards the armpit, no effort, just using the weight of the arms to draw the leg closer, and then making the effort in the legs to push into the hands as if you're trying to step onto the ceiling. And then just notice other places that you might be making effort or that might be releasing and relaxing, and that connection here. Go ahead and take a couple more. And let this be your last one. And then once again, release the hold in the foot. Squeeze the knee towards the armpit. Just another breath of expel the wind. And then set the right foot onto the mat. Bring the left leg in so you're back in your bridge prep. Notice the difference between the 2 legs. And then go ahead and bring that left leg towards you. Interlace the hands either in front of the shin or behind the thigh. You can leave the right knee pointed towards the ceiling bridge prep or extend the right leg long. And then just 3 or 4 breaths here, expelling the wind. As you exhale, let the breath leave the body. As you inhale, feeling the belly pressing into the thigh, getting that little bit of compression, and then exhaling, draw the knee towards you. Go ahead and find 1 more breath here. And then release the hold of the leg, point the toe towards the ceiling, interlace the hands behind the thigh. And then go ahead and point the toes towards the ceiling and just draw a circle. Take the circle in both directions. If the circle's not round, just make it as round as you can. And then pointing and flexing the toes. So go ahead and point the toes towards the ceiling. Let yourself have a whole breath there. And then the next time you exhale, draw the toes back towards the face. And it's okay if the knee is a little bent here, micro bend in the knee. And then go ahead and carry on with your own breath, pointing the toes towards the ceiling and then flexing the foot back towards the face. Go ahead and see if you can find 1 more round. And then we'll go ahead and bend the knee. Bring ourselves into that half happy baby. See if you can reach for the sole of the foot. Knee is bent towards the left armpit. Just pause there for a moment. If this isn't available with the hands, just bring your strap to the ball of the foot. And then we're going to go back and forth, drawing that knee towards the armpit. And then making effort to press the foot into the hands, push it away, and then relaxing, drawing the leg back towards you, effort of the hands. Go ahead and just take a couple more rounds here. Last one. And then go ahead and squeeze the knee. And then I think we missed it on this side. We're going to just take a couple breaths, bringing the nose towards the left knee. And then release both feet back on the floor into our bridge prep. We're going to go ahead and roll it over onto one side or the other so you can turn to where you can see the camera. And use the arm as a pillow, or you can bring a block underneath you as a pillow and bring the arm right out in front of you. And then we're going to clamshell the legs. So bring the feet together, and we're just going to open and close the knees here. So make sure you're comfortable, and then go ahead and just open those knees away from each other and then back together. Just a little clamshell. Let's see if we can find 3 more. And then go ahead and remove the block. Roll back onto the back. We're going to come up into like a virtual legs up the wall. So both feet are pointed towards the ceiling. Both legs are pointed towards the ceiling. And then we'll go ahead and open one leg down. So I'm going to start with the right, bringing the right leg down onto the floor until the left leg wants to follow. And then I'm going to let it follow and stack both feet over on the right. And then make the effort to bring the left leg up towards the ceiling, away from the right, and then eventually the right leg's going to want to follow, and we're going to bring it over, bring the left leg over onto the floor on the left, let the right leg stack on top, pause there, and then inhale the right leg up, let the left leg follow, let that right leg come all the way over to the right. And then let the legs close, stack the legs left on right. And then a few more rounds. So with your own effort, your own breath. So letting the legs spread away from each other as far as they can, and then bringing them over to meet and greet. Let's go ahead and find one more on each side. Make sure you're even. And then when you're even, coming back up towards center, virtual legs up the wall. And then hug the knees towards the chest. And we're going to come over on the other side to clamshell. So roll yourself over using the other arm as a pillow, or bringing a block under your head and the arm out in front of you. Stack the legs, keep the feet together, and then open the knees wide apart and closed. A few more rounds. See if we can do 2 more. And then go ahead and close the legs. We'll remove the block and roll ourselves over into a tabletop. Here in tabletop, start with whatever movement your body wants right now. So maybe you want to sway a little bit. Maybe you want to circle the hips. Just come into allowing the back to open, moving a little bit through the shoulder and hip joints, and then go ahead and start circling the hips. Make the movement even juicier. And as the buttocks come towards the heels, change direction. And then back into neutral tabletop. Go ahead and line everything up so your wrists and hands are stacked underneath the shoulders. And then untuck the toes, take a full breath in. As you exhale, find cat, rounding the back, releasing the crown of the head to the mat. And then press yourself back into child's pose. Let all the air come out of the body. On your next inhale, come forward into tabletop. Look forward, draw the shoulder blades together in the back. Find cow, tucking the toes. As you exhale, reversing the movement into cat. And then pressing back into child's pose. And go ahead, we're just going to move at our own pace, coming back through tabletop into cow, tucking the toes, shoulder blades down the back. As you exhale, finding cat, rounding the back, pressing back into child's pose. And go ahead and just carry on through this nice, smooth flow. Opening up the spine at your own pace. And take a few more rounds here. And then we're all going to meet the next time you come through child's pose. We'll all settle into child's pose for a few breaths. See if you can find one more breath. Full breath in, full breath out. And then we're going to inhale forward into tabletop one more time. Tuck the toes, press into the hands, lift the knees, find your version of puppy. And then go ahead and straighten one leg. And then straighten the other. Just take a moment, walk that dog out. And then find steadiness in the pose and see if you can find just a breath here. On the next inhale, let your right foot float towards the ceiling. Bend the right knee. Take that right knee in a big circle. And then pause. Take the circle the opposite direction. And then pause. We're going to step the right foot forward between the hands. Lower that left knee onto the mat. And then here we're just going to pulse between our low lunge and our Hanuman prep. So you can use the blocks if you want, if it helps you walk back and forth, but we're here in a low lunge, and then we're going to walk the fingertips back, straighten the front leg, bring the heart towards the kneecap, extend the head towards the toes, and then walk ourselves forward back into low lunge. So if you want a little bit more of a lift or you're having a hard time reaching the floor, just use your blocks and walk yourself back and forth. Just go ahead and take a few rounds. We're just going to lubricate up that joint, or those joints, I guess I should say. One more. And then we'll walk ourselves forward into our low lunge and go ahead and lift the hands off the floor, hands up overhead, arm bones alongside the ears. Just give yourself a moment for the pelvis to come forward and down. And then we'll go ahead and extend the right leg long. Once again, Hanuman prep. And then bring the hands back to the mat, heart towards the kneecap, head extends towards the toes. Take a few more breaths here. And then we'll go ahead and walk ourselves back forward. Place the hands on the mat, tuck the back toes if they're not tucked already, and then sweep that right foot towards the ceiling. Find your three-legged dog. You can bend the right knee, bring the heel towards your buttock, and just pause there for a moment for a nice hip opener. And then go ahead and set the right foot back on the mat. Walk the feet. Walk your dog. And then from here, go ahead and swoop that left leg up and towards the ceiling. Bend the left knee. Go ahead and take a circle with the knee, both directions. And then step the left foot forward. Right knee on the mat. Pause there. And then once again, just coming between your low lunge and your half splits. So walk the hands back, extend the leg long, left toes towards the ceiling, and then walking back into your low lunge. And remember, the blocks are a nice option to just help you get, especially maybe it might be tugging on your low back here, so you could just sit up a little bit more and use the blocks. So just moving between that half split and the low lunge. Go ahead and take a couple more rounds. Let's take one more. And then the next time you come into your low lunge, you're going to set up your foundation and then go ahead and sweep those arms up alongside the ears, lift the chest, heart forward, hands towards the ceiling. And then here, just allowing the pelvis to open a little bit more towards the mat. Take a couple more breaths here. And then go ahead and extend the left leg long, bring the heart towards the knee, head towards the foot. Hanuman prep, take a few breaths here. See if you can find one more big, full, deep breath in. Direct it anywhere you have tension, and then let that full, deep breath out. And then go ahead and bend the left knee, set up your hands, tuck the right toes under, and then sweep that left foot up towards the ceiling, three-legged dog. And then maybe you want to bend the knee, bring the heel towards the buttock, knee towards the ceiling, pause there. And then go ahead and bring both feet down to the mat, walk the dog out. We're going to go ahead and roll forward into a plank. Take a full breath there in plank, full breath out. And then lower the knees, bring the chest and chin down between the hands, swooping yourself forward into cobra. And then exhaling back into your tabletop. Take a few hip circles each direction. And then find your way back to neutral tabletop. We're going to extend the right leg long so the ball of the foot is on the floor. And just press into the ball of the foot and open up that leg for a moment. And then go ahead and lift the right leg, lift the left arm. Take a full breath in, and as you exhale, bring the elbow towards the knee, knee towards the elbow, round the back. Inhale, extend the foot away from the hand. 4 more rounds like that. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. No need to rush. Take it nice and slow. See if you can find 2 more. Last one. We're going to hold. Take a breath there, elbow to knee, and then extend one more time. Bring the hand back onto the mat, bring the ball of the foot back onto the mat, and then once again press into the ball of the right foot. And then bring everything back into tabletop. Take a hip circle or 2 if that feels nice. And then once again, we're going to extend the left leg long. Ball of the left foot on the mat. Press into the ball of the foot. Open up the back of the leg. And then go ahead and lift that left leg. Lift the right arm. Take a full breath in, and as you exhale, draw the elbow towards the knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. 3 more. And as you come into this last one, we're going to hold elbow to knee. Take a full breath in, full breath out, and then extend one more time. Bring the right hand onto the mat. Bring the ball of the left foot onto the mat. Press into the left foot. And then bend both knees back into your tabletop. Take a little hip circle. Take it both directions. And then we'll tuck the toes, set up the hands, and once again bring ourselves into puppy pose, and then downward dog. And go ahead and just walk the dog out. And then find a moment of stillness in downward dog. We're going to start to walk the hands back towards the feet. Finding forward fold at the back of the mat. Let everything hang here. See if you're holding any tension in your tongue, in your jaw, in your eyeballs. And then just let the crown of the head come towards the mat. And then we're going to roll up from here from the lower back, middle back, upper back. So let the head and neck hang. And then on an inhale, gently start rolling up to stand. When you arrive to standing, let the arms float up overhead, clasp one wrist, take yourself over to the other side, and then back to center, other side. We should call this shadow yoga. You can just see my silhouette. We're going to take the legs wide, arms open up into star pose. And then look down at your feet. We're going to take the heels out so the outside edges of the feet are parallel to the edges of the mat. Interlace the hands behind the back. Draw the knuckles towards the floor, towards the heels to open the heart. And then take a nice deep forward fold. Let the hands float towards the ceiling here. Let the shoulder blades come together in the back. Keep the knees gently softened. Taking just a few more breaths here. And then slowly start to soften the elbows and stay in the fold. We're going to bring both hands down in front of the face. And then we'll walk the left hand over in front of the face. Let the right hand float towards the ceiling. See how that feels. And then exhale the hand that's up down to the mat and bring that one in front of the face. Let the other hand float towards the ceiling. And then go ahead and just take a few more rounds like this, really slow. One hand in front of the face, the opposite hand float towards the ceiling, and then gently let that upper hand float back down in front of the face and lift the other hand towards the ceiling. Let's take one more each side. And then with both hands on the mat, gently walk the hands back towards the feet and see how it feels to bring yourself just a little deeper into the fold. Take another full breath in, full breath out. And then bring the hands to the hips and gently bring yourself back up to standing. We'll bring the heels in, toes out, back into star pose. And just a few rounds here at your own pace of moving between star and goddess. Let's take one more. And the next time you find yourself in goddess pose, see if you can take a little bit of a pause here. Relax the tailbone. Maybe you want to have a little goddess dance. And then back up to standing. We're going to turn the right toes towards the top of the mat. Lengthen the stance and bring the back foot, the left foot, so the back edge of the foot is parallel to the back edge of the mat. And then bend that right knee. Find your way to warrior two. Take a full breath in. And as you exhale, turn that front palm, that right palm towards the ceiling, drawing a big arch on the ceiling, and reverse your warrior. So the left hand comes to the back of the left thigh. Take a full breath in. As you exhale, maybe you can reach a little deeper. And then on an inhale, coming forward into side angle, placing that right lower arm on the thigh, creating that diagonal from the back foot to the fingertips. And then inhaling back into warrior two. Go ahead and straighten the front leg, reach towards the front of the mat, and then tip your teapot, find triangle. Take a full breath in, full breath out. Soften the front knee, coming back into our warrior two. Let yourself really find the pose there and sink into it for another breath. And then gently straighten the leg, turn the toes. We're going to take that forward fold one more time. So check that your feet, outside edges of your feet, are parallel to the short end of the mat. Interlace the hands behind the back. Draw the shoulder blades down. See if you can take the other interlace with the non-habitual, funky feeling one with the other thumb on top. And then draw the knuckles towards the mat. And when you're ready, exhale into your forward fold. Let the hands float towards the ceiling. Give yourself another couple breaths here. And then we're going to do the same thing we did earlier. So you're welcome to stay here for a few more breaths if you didn't like the twisting. Otherwise, you can soften the elbows, stay in your fold, bring the hands in front of the face. Leave your right hand there, let the left hand float towards the ceiling. Breath. And then let that left hand come back down in front of the face, let the right hand float towards the ceiling. And then just let yourself come into this really gentle movement, leaving one hand in front of the face, letting the other hand float up. At your own pace, almost like a little dance. Go ahead and see if you can find one more each side. And then both hands are turning to the mat, walking the hands back between the feet, drawing yourself deeper into that forward fold. Take a full breath in and full breath out. And then hands to the hips, coming back into standing. Turn the left toes towards the short end of the mat. Make sure you have a wide enough stance, and the back edge of the right foot is parallel with the back end of the mat. And then bend the knee and come into the pose of warrior two, lifting the arms, looking over the back of the palm, finding your drishti, your point of concentration. Take a full breath in, full breath out. And then turn that left palm towards the ceiling, the front palm towards the ceiling, sweeping and painting an arch overhead. So the right hand comes to the top of the right thigh, reversed warrior. And then coming through into side angle, setting the arm bone on top of the left thigh, creating that dynamic line from the back foot to the fingertips. Take another breath here, and then inhale yourself back into warrior two. Straighten the front leg, reaching towards that front direction, and then coming into triangle. Full breath in, full breath out. All right, we're going to soften the front knee, find our way back to warrior two. And then go ahead and turning everything towards the long end of the mat again. This time we're going to bring the heels in, toes out, and come in between our star pose and goddess, just at your own pace. A few more. And then this last one, see if you can find your goddess pose and stay there for a few breaths. Relax the tailbone. And then press yourself back up. All right, same thing we just did. We'll take it a little bit quicker. So turn your right toes towards the short end of the mat. Look at your left foot. Make sure it's parallel with the back end of the mat. Bend the front knee. Warrior two. Take a full breath in. Sink down into warrior two. Turn the front palm towards the ceiling. On your next exhale, reverse the warrior. Reach for that back leg. Take a full breath in there. And as you exhale, sink into the pose. On your next inhale, we're going to flow back through our warrior two and then come into our side angle. Take a full breath in, full breath out. Inhale back into warrior two, straightening that front leg. Reach towards the front foot and then find triangle. Full breath in, full breath out. And then starting to soften that front knee, coming back through warrior two. Take a full breath, and as you exhale, really sink into the pose. And then straighten that front leg. We're going to turn the toes and go straight to the other side. So point the left toes towards the left end of the mat. Bend the left knee. Find warrior two. Take a full breath in. Full breath out. Turn the front palm towards the ceiling. And on an exhale, reverse your warrior. Take a full breath there and reverse warrior. Really sink into it on the exhalation. On an inhale, we'll come back through warrior two. Set the front arm on top of the front leg and find side angle. Sink in with a full breath. And then inhale yourself back through warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Reach, 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 reach towards that front foot and then find triangle. Take another breath here in triangle. And then when you're ready, soften the front knee. Find warrior two one more time. Full breath in, full breath out. Sink into it. And then go ahead and straighten the front leg. Turn the toes, lift the heels, star pose to goddess. So this goddess, really see that you're really relaxing the tailbone. Go ahead and find one more. And then stay in your goddess. Take a little goddess dance just for a moment. And then back up to star pose. We're going to bring everything back to center. Clasp one wrist. Take yourself over to the other side. Find that little crescent stretch. Take a full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale back to center. Clasp the other wrist. Full breath in. Full breath out. And then back to center. Go ahead and bring the arms down. Shake everything out and make your way back to the top of the mat. We're going to take a little vinyasa to come back to the top of the mat. So start by softening your knees, feeling your feet underneath you, relaxing the tailbone down. Find your mountain pose. And then from that place of steadiness, on an inhale, let the hands float up overhead. Look at the hands as they come together. And then exhale, dive in. Release the breath completely. On the inhale, fingertips to shins, extend through the crown of the head. And then exhale, hands to the mat, bend the knees, come back into plank. Take an extra breath here in plank. And then we're going to bring the knees to the mat. Roll that chest and chin down through the hands, coming into cobra. And then exhale down, find your tabletop. Take some juicy hip circles in tabletop. And then find the center. Get those hands ready, and we're going to tuck the toes and find our way back to downward dog. Once you're in downward dog, just go ahead and walk the dog for a moment. And we're going to take a few poses here that are the pelvis. We want to keep the pelvis, the headlights of the pelvis pointed towards the short end of the mat. So go ahead and find steadiness here in downward dog. We're going to come into warrior one to start. So we'll lift that right leg towards the ceiling, bend the knee, take the knee in a circle, both directions, rolling out that hip joint. Steady the legs, and then step the right foot forward. Turn the back heel down about 45 degrees, and then go ahead and lift the arms all the way up. So you're facing the short end of the mat. Knee is stacked over ankle, pressing into the blade of the back foot, pelvis facing forward. And then we're going to humble ourselves here, bringing the hands behind the back. Once again, interlacing the hands, interlacing the fingers, draw the knuckles towards the back heel, opening up the heart. And then when you're ready, you're going to bring your nose inside your knee. Let those hands point up towards the ceiling, or the knuckles come towards the ceiling. Humble warrior. Pause here a few breaths. See if you can find another full breath in, full breath out. And then go ahead and soften the elbows, coming back up all the way into your warrior one. We're going to bend the left elbow, bring the right hand to the top of the left elbow, and then just draw ourselves over a little bit towards the right. Whichever leg you have in front, that's the direction you're taking yourself. So just a little crescent here in our warrior one. Take another full breath in, full breath out. And then back to center, back to warrior one. Take your hands back to the mat. Step back into three-legged dog, sweeping that right foot towards the ceiling. And then go ahead, bend the knee, see if that feels nice to hang out there for a moment. And then right foot back towards the mat, walk your dog. And then from this place of steadiness, let that left foot float towards the ceiling, bend the knee, take the knee in a circle, both directions. And then from a place of steadiness, stepping the left foot forward, turning the back heel down, coming into our warrior one. Finding strength here and really seeing what it feels like if you're falling into the arch or if you're pressing into the blade of the back foot, keeping that back leg active. And then we're going to let the hands come behind us, interlace the fingers, try the non-habitual, funky feeling interlace, draw the knuckles towards the mat, open up the heart, and then gently bring your nose inside your knee, let your fingers float, hands float towards the ceiling, humble warrior. Just letting this be nice and juicy. See if you can find another breath here. And then gently start to soften the elbows, coming back through warrior one. And then this time we're bending the right elbow, bringing the left hand on top of the right elbow, and then drawing ourselves over towards the left, towards that front leg. Taking a little crescent stretch there. And then back up, warrior one. Bring your hands back to the mat. Step back into your three-legged dog. Bend the knee. See if it feels nice to hang out there for a moment. And then bring the foot back to the mat. And from downward dog, find your steadiness. And then we're going to float forward into plank. and lower ourselves in the count down. Lower ourselves down on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Onto the belly. Go ahead and shake yourself out a little side to side. And we're going to just take a little shoulder opener here. So bring your block with you underneath the forehead. Arms are in a cross, so perpendicular to the body. I'm going to start with the left side, walking the left fingertips out towards the left, rolling onto my left side body. Block is under the left side of my head. And then the right leg can be used as a kickstand. The hand can be in front of the chest, and I'm just going to allow the weight of the body to help open up that left shoulder. So just direct your breath there. Take a couple breaths. One more. And then go ahead and release your kickstand. Walk your right hand back out so you're back onto your belly. Shake the hips a little side to side. And then with the block underneath the forehead, walk the right fingertips out to the right, rolling onto the right side. Block is supporting the head. And then use that leg that you're not laying on as a kickstand, hand in front of the chest. And just pause there and breathe. See if you can find a couple more breaths here. And then go ahead and walk ourselves back onto the belly. Let the hips rock and roll side to side. Just a wee bit here. And then we're going to bring the hands back under the shoulders. Press ourselves back up into tabletop. Take the hips in a big circle, both directions. And then go ahead and cross the feet at the ankles, and we're going to roll onto the back. Go ahead and grab your pillow. Keep your pillow handy. And from this back position, we're just going to start by bringing the knees towards the chest, rock a little side to side. And then go ahead and bring both feet onto the mat. Find your bridge prep pose. We're just going to take a few rounds of bridge here, and we're just going to roll up and down and take a breath of steadiness at the top and at the bottom. So from your bridge prep, starting just like where we started, go ahead and on an exhale, let the belly button come towards the spine, spine towards the mat. And then this time, press into the feet, lift the pelvis, rolling up onto the shoulders. Take a full breath in there. And then with control, rolling back down, ever so steady, ever so slowly. And set the pelvis down. Take a full breath in there, full breath out. Let's see if we can find 2 more rounds of that. On an exhale, belly button towards spine, spine towards the mat, press into the feet, lift the pelvis, roll up onto the shoulders. On an exhale, rolling down ever so gently, keeping that pelvis lifted to the very end, and then set her down. One more. Moving on an exhale, rolling up onto the shoulders, taking a breath there, and then again, rolling down on the exhale. And then we're going to take the feet wide apart away from each other and just windshield wiper out the legs so that both knees come over to one side. Take a full breath in, full breath out. And then inhale the knees up and over to the other side. Full breath in, full breath out. And go ahead and just take this a few more times. If you want to take it a little faster or if you want to just hang out in there, it'll probably depend on how much of a twist you feel like you want today. Go ahead and another couple breaths, either moving really slowly or maybe a little bit faster, but see if you can find symmetry on both sides. And then go ahead one more time, coming back to center, and then finding your fetal pose, rock and rolling side to side, hug the knees towards the chest. Find the center, and then bring your nose towards the knees, close all the joints, give yourself a real little squeeze. And then bring your bolster or your pillow with you underneath the knees or thighs. Go ahead and take the legs long on the bolster so the knees are lifted. And then go ahead and tuck one shoulder blade down and then the other so that the arms can open alongside the body, palms pointed towards the ceiling. And then when you feel ready, closing off the eyes, letting the eyes grow heavy, sinking into the skull. Letting the tongue relax in the mouth, allowing the jaw to relax. And then taking that body scan, starting at the feet, feeling and noticing the relaxation in the feet, where the feet are touching the mat, letting that awareness roll up into the ankles, noticing the heaviness of the lower leg, relaxation of the joint, and then the heaviness of the thigh coming up into the pelvis. Taking a breath there and really relaxing into where the back of the pelvis is touching the mat, releasing inside the pelvis anything that you're holding, and then letting that awareness roll up into the belly, allowing the belly button to just sink towards the back, letting that awareness of relaxation come up around the heart, noticing where the back of the upper back is touching the mat, and just sinking yourself even deeper, even heavier into those places. Letting the awareness roll down the arms, upper arm, lower arm, hands, and just noticing where they're touching the mat, the floor, and let it feel even heavier. And then letting that awareness come back up into the shoulders, the neck, the jaw, the face, and just allowing all of these things to just relax and sink down towards the earth a little bit deeper, a little bit heavier. And just taking a breath or two to really let this full relaxation sink in. And ever so gently and ever so slowly, start to make the breath a little bit bigger. And then let yourself breathe all the way down the legs, into the feet. Maybe the toes want to have a little wiggle. And then let the breath travel all the way down the arms, into the fingers. Maybe the fingers want to have a little wiggle. Just trying to give the fingers and the toes a little movement here. And then starting to roll out the wrists, Starting to roll up the ankles. And then breathing the arms up overhead, walking the feet together and finding the center line and just stretching there from toe tip to fingertip. Where you're ready, bending the knees and rolling over onto one side or the other, using the arm as a pillow. Take a moment there in fetal pose. And then pressing yourself back up. Find your comfortable seat. Bring the hands together at heart center and seal our practice with the sound of M, the buzzing bee's breath, Brahmari breath. Take a full breath in. Whenever you're ready, let yourself hum out the sound of M. Bringing the chin towards the chest to honor your own efforts. And then bringing the fingers, the thumbs between the eyebrows, third eye center, honoring all the other yogis who came before us to bring us this practice. May we all remember we are connected, all sharing the same lights. Namaste.